Well, good morning. Thank you all for coming today. We appreciate your interest in learning more about HydroChem PSC. Just want to start off with this slide to give you a little bit of background about who we are and maybe set the tone for a couple of the themes you'll hear in our presentation. You know, back in 2017 when HydroChem and PSC came together, we knew that we had something very unique to offer to the industry. Taking the collective strengths of the legacy companies, we made it our goal to build a brand whose foundation was set on four key elements. Number one, we would be the safety leaders and the industry leaders in safety and environmental compliance. Number two, we would be known for having the best technology in everything we do, from hydroblasting to tank cleaning to vapor control. Number three, with the right safety culture, the best technology, we would be able to attract the best people. And we'd be able to keep them with a commitment to their career development centered around a world-class training and craft certification program. And finally, number four is about you, our customers. We will strive to be the most admired company when it comes to how we relate to our customers through transparency and accountability to continuous improvement. With the right culture, the best tools, the best people, we will be able to provide the highest value to our customers. So turning to safety, I know that everyone talks about their safety program and how great it is, but I really believe that we at HydroChem PSC have something very unique. It's actually a three-pronged safety system that you see illustrated on the lower right or lower left. At the top is our loss prevention system, LPS. This is our behavioral-based system. It's a licensed system that was developed by an Exxon engineer and actually adopted by ExxonMobil and Chevron worldwide. Exxon, in fact, introduced us to LPS in 2011. We have now adopted it across the entire HydroChem PSC organization so that we all speak one common language. And in fact, whenever we make an acquisition, we make it our first priority in the integration process to train every one of the employees of the new acquired company on LPS. Now, what makes LPS unique? Its uniqueness lies in its comprehensive set of tools that work together. I'll just give you three examples. Number one is the LPSA. This is the loss prevention self-assessment. This is a manual exercise that each of our employees are trained to perform before they perform any task or work in the field. And it's essentially asking themselves two questions. Number one, what could go wrong? And number two, what's the worst thing that can happen? And then they make sure that they have the right tools, the right training to perform the job safely. And if they don't, they know it's their obligation, their requirement to raise their hand and stop the job and regroup with their supervisor and make sure they have everything they need to do the job safely. Number two is the JLA, it's the job loss analysis. Often thought of as the JSA, but it's different in that the JLA is a pre-developed set of procedures actually in the field, given in the field, written on the piece of paper to remind our employees what the critical steps are in performing the job safely. And then it's the third tool is the LPO, the loss prevention observation. This is our audit process. This is a peer-to-peer process by which a technician would observe another technician performing the work, and having the JLA in front of them, they would be able to observe that that employee is performing the job according to the procedure, not taking shortcuts, not taking anything out of order, but doing it according to the procedure. This helps reinforce a compliance and procedure-driven culture so that we do the same job every place in the country the same way every time. Well, we recognize that the behavioral-based system is great, but it's not enough. We must make sure that our equipment is designed to be safe. And so we've made it the aim of our Canal Fulton Technology Center in Ohio to manufacture and design our hydroblasting equipment to remove our workers from the line of fire. That is their singular goal, is to make sure that that work is done safely. Around vacuum trucks, we're the only company to mandate mobile ground verification systems and engine runaway kill switches on every one of our vacuum trucks. And when it comes to high pressure hoses, we are the only company that mandates disposal of all hoses once they've reached their predetermined life limits. The third piece of our three-pronged safety system is around craft certification. This is a program actually developed by a NASA engineer, modeled after the way NASA trains their astronauts using flip books. These are operating and maintenance procedure manuals that all of our employees are trained on. The unique thing about these manuals is that they're highly illustrated, showing what good looks like and what bad looks like. And then by every procedure out to the right in big bold letters are what could go wrong if that procedure is not followed exactly. Again, reinforcing a procedure-driven, procedure-disciplined culture in our organization. Well, I think the results speak for themselves. Here on the lower right is our TRIR trends going back to 2015. You can see a steady decline in the number of injuries. In 2019, we finished at a 0.20, our best ever. And in fact, in 2020 through April, we were at a 0.09. Now, those are great results, but look, people are still getting hurt. So we're not claiming victory by any stretch. And in fact, we will not settle for anything less than 0 injuries, which we know is possible. So our journey continues. On this slide, I just want to use this as an overview of how we're organized as a company and the different services we offer. I'll go into a bit more detail in the following slides, but generally speaking, starting from the left, our industrial cleaning business represents nearly 60% of our $850 million a year business. That's kind of what we're here to talk to you about today. What I want you to take away from the slide, though, is we are the largest national provider of industrial cleaning services in the U.S. We are 2.5 times bigger than our next closest competitor. And I'll come back to that as to why that's important to you and how we can bring savings and value to our relationships. What we take then is the knowledge and the experience we gain working inside of these plants every day, providing routine hydroblasting and vacuum truck services. We understand the plant, we understand the safety systems, we understand the organization. We can then bring in specialty services, which are illustrated on the middle part of the slide, into those relationships and do it at a much more cost-effective manner than any other company who provides these services on a standalone basis. Now out to the right is field services. This is primarily sold into our upstream and utility sectors, but there are people and equipment here that can respond and support refining and petrochemical operations such as soft dig and water treatment. So just a few additional words on industrial cleaning. Along the bottom, you see the basic services: hydroblasting, vacuum services, chemical cleaning, and routine tank cleaning. That's probably not unlike any other of our competitors in what they call industrial cleaning. But again, there's two important things here I want you to take away from. One is, because of our size, we have the ability to invest heavily into our equipment. We are, in fact, the only company in the industry that designs and manufactures their own tooling, and it supports that tooling in the field with their own manufacturing experts. The other thing is that just given our size, our technicians have seen literally every type of process out there in the industry, and so there's no challenge, no issue that our folks have not confronted. So we use that size to our advantage to help put the best people and the best technology at work in your plant. Turning to specialty services, again, along the bottom you see the main services. We again differentiate between engineered services, which are sort of these four, from specialty mechanical services. So starting with reduction technology on the left, this is our complex tank cleaning group. So these group of folks are able to take on your greatest challenges around tank cleaning. Anything from crude to heavy oil to cap fines and even sour water tanks. And in 2019, we acquired TriStar's PetroServe Tank Group, giving us now the largest and deepest bench of experienced project managers in the business. Turning to fixed facilities, this is our fixed facility sludge processing plant centered at the Shell Norco refinery in Louisiana. We can take tank bottoms and other sludges not only from the Shell refinery, but from any Gulf Coast refinery. We can deliver it to this site on a bill of lading and process it through this plant, which consists of an indirect fired thermal desorption unit, and turn that what would otherwise be hazardous waste into a non-haz or delisted ash for landfill, creating a significant savings for our customers. On vapor control management, these are tank degassing pieces of equipment that commonly work with our reduction technology team for turnkey tank cleaning and vapor control projects. But we also have a whole fleet of liquid carbon scrubbers that typically would work alongside our vacuum truck operations to help our customers stay in MSS compliance. Fugitive emissions monitoring, this is LDAR, leak detection and repair. With the 2017 acquisition of Guardian, we are the largest national provider of LDAR services in the US. And then over on the far right, specialty mechanical, with our 2019 acquisition of Carver, the folks who are pioneered the line isolation tool, we can now provide our downstream and petrochemical customers with a whole suite of specialty mechanical services, from online leak repair, cut ISO test, field machining, bolting, even hot tap and line stop. So I want to come back to our fully integrated platform and why this matters and how this is used to help support our customers. As you can see illustrated, by having all these services, we can bundle these together, multiple services, into one contract, into one engagement with you. And in doing so, we can reduce your overall costs. And this comes in a couple of ways. Number one, direct labor. By selectively cross-training our technicians, we can, for example, train special mechanical technicians to work alongside our hydroblast technicians to install our automated tooling. This helps reduce the overall number of heads required in the plant. When it comes to site overhead, certainly by having, instead of 1, 2, or 3 site managers for different services, pulling those together into one reduces site overhead or site indirects. I'll have an example of how this works in one of our recent customer engagements on the West Coast. The other way we think about this is sort of, certainly from your standpoint, we've never heard of a procurement manager who didn't like less contracts to manage. So how do we deliver the savings? We created the HPC Stewardship process, which is illustrated on this slide. Certainly we'll monitor safety metrics with you, but we also want to look to monitor and steward our overall cost, certainly overall and by service line. We'll look at labor management, how we're managing labor, average crew sizes, overtime, labor. We'll look at job production issues such as equipment count, making sure we have the right number of trucks, for example, in the plant, not too many. We'll look at work planning metrics around break-ins and delays. And what I want you to notice is we're going to compare kind of where we are together, if you will, to what we call first quartile. And this is where our size really comes into play. Because we're embedded in so many plants, we have a broad field of view of performance. And frankly speaking, even among HydroChem PSC embedded sites, there's a range of performance. We have found that the contract rates, the dollars per hour and ratio, have little to do with the ultimate delivered cost. Instead, it's about relationship dynamics and culture and experiences of our people and your people working together that create opportunities, if you will, for reducing overall cost. And so knowing kind of what good looks like based on our experience and our wide benchmarking database, we'll then compare where we are together at your plant with where our best performers are. And you can see as an example at the bottom, we'll compare your average crew sizes to first quartile, or your indirect labor and overtime to first quartile, and then convert those gaps into dollars. And then we'll work with you to establish specific cost improvement steps that we can take together. This can be in the form of new technology, maybe organizational changes like working with you to assign a full-time dedicated vacuum truck coordinator on your side to help manage vac truck orders, to ultimately challenge the organization to make sure they reduce the overall number of trucks. So I mentioned the case study. This slide illustrates kind of a before and after of a site where we put together, kind of eliminated some silos, if you will, and brought together one organization. So in this plant, HydroChem PSC actually started there in 2013 as the routine industrial cleaning provider, doing day-to-day vacuum and hydroblast work in the plant. The next year, coincidentally, the LDAR provider started work there. That was Guardian. Again, later would be acquired by HydroChem PSC in 2017. But Guardian started there doing just LDAR in 2014. And then in 2019, we established an embedded specialty mechanical crew, primarily providing online link repair services, but also additional specialty services, specialty mechanical services. So it was natural that with this evolution, that come 2020, we would be able to look at that organization, illustrated on the left, with separate site managers, separate safety coordinators, etc., and bring them together into a new organization that ultimately reduced the headcount by 4 spots. What we did to do that, we took the site managers for LDAR and specialty mechanical and moved them down into billable positions in the field. And then just recognizing with the total number of technicians in the plant, and that at the margin, some were not fully utilized, we were able to drop out 4 total headcount or bodies in the plant. And this saved the customer close to $400,000 a year.